Hello and welcome to AFK Sidequest. I'm your host Rob, and joining me today in my adventure at Angles we have Luke 2 and Maddie Cunningham. Today's game is Trominii. Trominii is a game of angles and point scoring where you take every one of your tiles and try to place them in a way to get as much points as you can. The first player in Trominii is decided by all players grabbing one tile from the bag, and the player with the highest total gets to go first.
So on the tiles, what have you got then?
Okay, so the numbers go from 1 to 5. You do have blanks and you do have wild cards. It goes from the first player then clockwise. You all take 5 tiles from the bag and you keep on playing until the bag is empty. You will notice that each tile has 3 numbers on them. In the case of most tiles, you want to play the 2 edges with the kind of point on them against each other in any angle where the sides align.
So it's not point to point.
No, it most definitely is not.
Not tip to tip.
When you place a tile, you take the 2 numbers that you've matched and you tally those 2 numbers together.
Add them up.
Yes, pretty much.
Add up all the joining points.
Yes, which means that as you slowly begin to add more and more numbers to one joined point, for example, you can have a total of, I believe it is 8. 8 times by the number that you've played.
Okay.
And that is 1 big points total.
So you've got a 5 and 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 a 5, and that makes 5 times 8.
Yeah, into a snowflake. However, point scoring doesn't just stop there, because you can also create loops, in which case a small loop of 4 separate Trominii would mean that you take the total on every single tile and then multiply it by 2.
Right.
You double it.
Nice.
Damn.
And you can also make larger loops again, which so long as it makes a long ongoing link, a loop, then you take the total of all of them. It's only multiply on a 4 Trominii link. A larger loop is just the total and nothing else. You can also stack tiles. You can play effectively the center numbers to stack and you tally those points. But when you play that, you also need to take a second tile and place it under one of the hanging over edges.
So I could get rid of some of the cards that are crap.
Yeah, if you have a blank, which is either a no-point scorer or a way of denying somebody else points, you can use it to clear your hand and get some larger numbers, especially if you're stuck on 1s and 2s.
Okay.
And you can also place tiles adjacent, which means that the numbers at the end of each Trominii have to be the same.
But we ignore the middle tile.
Yes, the middle tile is ignored.
Okay.
Screw you, middle tile.
Yeah, screw you.
Get out of here.
So what is the point of having these blank tiles?
The blank tiles can be used to deny another player points. If you can see them trying if you see somebody going for a loop, you can try and diminish the actual value of it.
Oh, okay.
You can also use it in a way that effectively it takes up a space that somebody would otherwise be playing into. The only card that can play against anything is a wild card, which is signified by a circle with a plus sign in it.
Cross it.
A wild card can be played against any existing number, but only a wild card can then be played against another wild card.
Okay, so when a wild card is down, you can't put a number on that wild card.
Yes.
If I put a wild card here...
It would count as that number, but not towards the tally.
Oh,
You get to score the points, but nothing else besides that. Obviously, you will have one person who will keep the tally of the scores. It is often recommended, in this case, that you have a calculator or even the calculator on your phone, which allows you to keep up your own score, because you can get some very high scoring numbers.
What, you're just writing a short story as we're playing?
No, I can't actually write. And with that, our game of Trominii is over, and it is a triangular triumph for Luke.
Well done.
I am the points master.
You are the master of angles.
Fear me.
You got a good couple of big loops in there.
I love my loops.
Yeah.
So you kind of left us in the dust pretty much right at the beginning.
Why they call me Loops Luke. Right, now can I do this?
Yes.
And I get all of
did a
those, because
loop.
it's a loop!
You did it!
Yeah.
You get the totals doubled.
The total's doubled? God damn! So wait, so that's... 36. 36 times 2?
72.
72? 72?
Are you regretting doing this as a tally now,
1,
Maddie?
2, 3.
Lucky Luke's Luke.
Yeah, so I'm also luscious, so I'm lucky luscious loops. Luke.
Are you okay, Luke?
I'm having a stroke.
I'll be honest, when I first heard the concept, I was a little bit iffy, but I can't say I didn't enjoy playing it.
Yeah, it definitely plays better than it sounds, which is strange.
I think part of it is down to how it is described. It's a very difficult concept to sell.
We was looking through the actual rules, and some of it did seem a little bit heavy worded.
It did take a good few read-throughs and actually talking us together to figure out what some of the rules meant.
But as
And a lot of that was actually done in gameplay as well.
but
where
as the
we were
game
trying to-
progressed, we kind of understood it,
Yeah.
and we had a good time with it. And then I kicked all your butts. So
I think it was a relatively close game. At least between me and Maddie, we were pretty much on a level, pretty much all the way through it, and then you kind of left us in the
you
dust.
just fucked off.
Yeah.
I kept trying to find angles that work for me, but you could see that.
But they definitely were not going to fit.
Yeah, it was many a time where I was like, is that good? No. Is that good? No. Is that no?
You were awful for it. The amount of angles like that is clearly never going to happen, but you still tried.
Suck on. Oh no, that's not going to work.
Oh.
Look, I mean,
That doesn't touch you.
Technically,
No.
technically that's fine.
No.
I mean, it's a wild card, so I can place it on a number.
That's not how it works.
So, as far as I'm aware, this is actually not the final version of the game.
You're right, we were in fact playing a prototype provided for us, which is why at the moment we have a kind of placeholder really of ordinary wooden tiles and ultimately a half-used rulebook.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of it is subject to change, so we'll see how it looks in the final product. Oh yeah, be ready to do some quick maths when you play this game because we really got bogged down doing maths.
Yeah, we did.
Just get a calculator.
Yeah, be ready, be prepared.
Don't do what we did. Just get a calculator.
Love your little hatches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Tally.
Why did you
chart.
tally it? It was always going to be a bad idea.
I didn't realise you'd be going into the hundreds of points.
You tried to, you finished a tally of 72.
She underestimated.
She did, didn't she?
She's like, oh, there's no way we're going to get like above.
They're going to
10.
be shit at Trominii.
And that's why she lost.
I did lose.
The blanks and the wildcards together also confused me for a moment. It's because I think it's two non-scorers, which is a bit unusual.
But I think the wild cards are there so you can use them with anything.
Yeah, as well as that is very, very useful when you are
Blank's
completing a
just
loop,
blank.
for
I
example.
think it's one's a strategy implement, one's a scoring implement.
Because when we were finished, we had a pretty wacky-looking board.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, it was quite a nice little.
Even with this big table.
First it
Yeah.
looked like a gun, then it kind of transpired, and then it just.
Well, effectively, it ended up as a mess. Like when I was trying to get that final large loop in place, and it was just kind of a...
You do have to be prepared to have a big enough board in order
Oh,
to
yeah,
keep it all, just
definitely.
in case. That's why I say maybe travel would be a bit different.
Yeah, that's
Couldn't do it on your
Maybe-
coffee table
maybe
if
they
it
could
like
be
flew
magnetic
somewhere.
pieces like those little mini chess sets.
That would actually work really, really well for this game.
Yeah. If they like, come together.
Yeah, it would make it really simple to...
And if it's a legal move, it just pings off the table.
Yeah, exactly. That would be great.
Blind Nan.
That's actually a really, really good idea. Mr. Trominii, if you're listening now, magnetic. There are different, I suppose, versions of the set that you can buy. We currently have a 60 tile set, but there are smaller and larger ones. The set that we're actually using does also have rules for quick play in that you can remove blank, wildcard, or other tiles to speed things up if you want to.
And
okay.
simplify it if you're
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
with young
Yeah.
students. Students?
My Trominii students. Maddie have a dojo. She's just there, they're all in their pajamas, just like, okay, my children, now breathe in. You are the black tile. Become the wild card.
Use the ankles to your...
The ankles?
Use your ankles to your benefit. Kick the other players under the table. Pros. It's fun when you get into it.
Yeah.
Con. It takes time to get into sometimes. Pro. Me. Con. Maddie.
I don't know how much replayability I give this. I don't know how often I play it.
I think you want revenge.
We haven't seen every possible combination here. I think you could come back to
Yeah, because
Trominii.
at the start we weren't using like the loops or the.
No,
things a lot.
especially because we didn't really know all the rules back to front as well as we do now. We could really go to town on this. Like the world's most insane Trominii board.
I want a 2000 set piece.
We want 7 stacks.
How many players does this go up to?
As many as you want, really, I
As
guess.
many as your imagination.
As many as friends I have. So free.
Yay!
I mean, obviously, you would probably want to avoid having too many players because ultimately you would have no plays whatsoever.
Everyone gets
5,
one
maybe.
tile.
Yeah,
So there's 60
take it,
people
I think
in a
take
room.
it up to.
That's 10 tiles each.
I think this is pretty much a perfect 4-player game. You can play it around a decent sized table, and then have 4 people on each corner, and that would work well.
Another advantage of this is there's an easy aspect of just matching things for your 5-year-old cousin, but there's actually a bit of strategy as well.
Yeah.
You could whip your 5-year-old cousin's butt by implementing elite strats, as your cousin's just like, 2 on 2, that's 4. I mean, just like,
But no,
right.
my hyperloop.
I think it's also worth noting that Trominii is designed to be played in a 3rd dimension of upwards. So you do stack tiles.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's not just effectively the X and Y of the square on the board. You can go up a level. There is that Z.
Yeah,
you're
that
not
does
just
add an extra
Looking
layer.
at a face.
Yeah,
You're
pretty
looking
much.
at-
And I think that actually makes it kind of interesting because it really does open up the way you can play with the board. You can effectively make a new line exactly where there wouldn't have been one before, and it's kind of interesting in that way, I think. Final thoughts wise, again, it was fun to play. I would probably simplify it slightly, give the rulebook another once over, and maybe put that through some Q&A to make sure that the rules are, as you see them, sensible to other people.
The rules are written like they're rules, rather than like we're just talking to a friend on how to play something.
Yeah.
Which I feel that's what could benefit.
Yeah, it should be more of a how to play rather than just these are every rule.
I'll be looking forward to seeing how the final product actually ends up. Obviously, we've only ever seen the prototype, and it'll be nice to see what we actually get come the end of this all.
High hopes.
All good?
All good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All good.
I won. So
Well done.
suck it.
You said I was a bad winner.
When I eventually win, I'm going to be the most fucking gracious winner you've ever seen. I won, so it's outright good. I won't be, I'll be horrible.
Yeah, you will. You'll be unbearable.
Thank you for joining us today on AFK Sidequest. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and may the angles ever be to your benefit.